Land lovers, oceanoculants, it is time that we talk about another weapon. However, we're going a little bit of a rehash step back because we're talking about the weapon I first reviewed for Borderlands 4. However, unlike the first time, we have a little bit of a special scenario here because we're talking about the Rainbow Vomit. Real quick about the Rainbow Vomit, my friends, if you want to farm it, it is kind of an annoying weapon in order to farm because the boss leader Willem, he requires like 5 prerequisites side quests in terms of unlocking before you can actually fight him, right? So you have Enter the Elect Part 1, Enter the Elect Part 2, the Council Divide, a Traitor Within, and the Mole's Gambit. So 5 prerequisites before you can actually unlock the boss that drops this weapon and farm it properly. It is what it is. As we know, the Rainbow Vomit is a beautiful shoddy made by Jacobs. You know, Jacobs eating well out here. That spews 3 pellets at once. It can be any mix of the 3 elements. Any mix of the 5, okay? You get a pick of 3 of them, but with some pretty good build crafting, what we're able to do, we're able to take this Rainbow Vomit from 3 out of 5 elements to 5 out of 5. Yes, we actually have a weapon with the proper setup. We can legitimately shoot every single element at once with every pull of the trigger. As far as I'm aware, this is the only weapon in the game that you can do this with, and that allows for some pretty fun, interesting scenarios in which doesn't matter what type of health bar you're running up against or facing, your Rainbow Vomit will have at least one element that is super effective against that enemy's health bar. They may have 3 health bars, we have 5 elements. We're eating good regardless. Now, in terms of tiers of weaponry, I would probably have the Rainbow Vomit definitely hovering around that top 10 mark still. Very good weapon, although you could definitely say things like the Hellwalker now, the Hot Slugger, and the Bod, obviously the Bod, are better just in terms of raw damage and stopping power. But this is Borderlands, and the Rainbow Vomit has the ability to do something that none of those other weapons can, and that is spew out all types of elements. A really strong mobbing weapon for that scenario, and we have our bossing weapons in the back pocket. It can defeat bosses decently, but that's definitely not its strongest suit, but it is still a very fun and very strong weapon. Remember guys, we do always have our Mo channel and our Twitch channel linked at the top of the description of every video if you always want to check it out. It does help me out a lot. And in terms of just shouting out the homie who got me the Rainbow Vomit, this specific one with the corrosive incendiary and radiation, the one you're seeing in the background gameplay, you want to give a shout out to the homie Gentlesir. Link to his channel will be in the description as well. And don't get fooled by that alt fire Atlas underbarrel. It can roll with a whole slew of underbarrels, the knife launcher included. This weapon is pretty darn awesome. Now let's go ahead and move over to the live action portion of the video. Let's go have some fun spewing every single element with every pull of the trigger. All right, you glorious globetrotters, let's talk a little bit more about exactly what's all going on in the background and how we have this rocking. So first things first, you need a Rainbow Vomit with corrosive, incendiary, and radiation. These 3 elements specifically, because for this specific setup that we're rocking with, we're going to be able to get the other 2 elements through other means. I'll go ahead and say this, if you have one with shock, honestly, that's one you really don't want, just because we're going to be getting shock from our Watts for dinner shield. Granted, yeah, you could have it to enhance your shock damage on your shotgun, but like, honestly, just getting it as a fresh source is a really nice as well. And because we are on good old green tree Harlow fellas, you already know we gotta bring that nuclear winter. Whenever Harlow winter allies are inside the flux generator's radius, they deal bonus cryo damage. That is where we're gonna be getting our cryo damage. Whenever Harlow winter allies leave, that's when you deal bonus radiation damage. So if you're able to get one with radiation or cryo, one of those 2 toggled, like corrosive, incendiary, and cryo, for example, you would still be able to do this and get radiation without having your flux generator up. But because we get so much buffs and we get just a lot stronger with our flux generator active and doing its thing, we're going to want it to be up as often as possible. It's going to be up as often as possible. So we're just going to be having that cryo up so often, which is why if you had one rolled with cryo instead of radiation, it would be, yes, you could still do it. It would just be a little bit more finicky. Also, I do want to give a huge thank you to my homie Gentlesir Gaming. He was kind enough to drop me this Rainbow Vomit. Leave a link to his channel at the top description if you guys want to check my homie out. He is really good lad. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have our scatter shot. Yes, I know the firmware isn't necessarily all that perfect, but we are still able to get some juice because we at least have the 3 out of 3 Deadeye. Obviously 3 out of 3 Deadeye on a on a build like Green Tree, Harlow, yeah, that's going to be very, very valuable just because you're going to be doing so much guaranteed crits, and every critical hit you're going to do is going to give you 15% more crit damage and stacks up to 5 times. That is a 75% damage buff when it is fully stacked. All stacks are up, and then you throw in your scatter shot. More importantly, sequence your guns with Jacob's license parts, granted consecutive critical hits, a stacking 5% bonus damage for 8 stacks maximum. That would max out at 40%, and that's going to be proccing very fast and often on a shoddy that has 6 pellets. So now that you guys have a little bit more of an understanding on how we're actually getting all of the elements at once with every single shot of our Rainbow Vomit here, we can actually go ahead and tackle it. I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but this weapon can be very annoying to actually go and target farm because the boss you have to do, he has 5 prerequisites in terms of side quests that you need to do in order to actually unlock Leader Willem, who is the dedicated drop for the Rainbow Vomit. So just be wary of that. It can be just a little bit annoying. Honestly, dude, the fact that week 1 had that wildcard mission dropping the Rainbow Vomit was huge. So I'm over here in the Terminus range, and I'm gonna go ahead and use these guys as some nice basic cannon fodder before we go do the Orgo Vault. I'll be honest, this weapon's not like my first choice for bossing, but it can get the job done. It's also just a very strong weapon just because, I mean, once again, bro, you're doing so many elements, and something I wish I was able to show and mention for you guys in my first Rainbow Vomit video, because this was the first actual weapon that I did a showcase on in Borderlands 4. And while we were on a decent setup, we definitely weren't on the best of best setup, which I mean, it's kind of par for the course. I'm not going to hit, you know, the most ideal peak out of peak setup for every weapon within a week of the, you know, the launch. But now that we do have the ability to show this thing in a real juice format on UVHM5, now it's a great opportunity to go ahead and remake this bad boy, show you guys a little bit more spice that the Rainbow Vomit has to offer. Now, something else that we do need to mention about the Rainbow Vomit, y'all excuse me here, is that it's a weapon that has projectile speed, and it's very noticeable, and it's very, very slow. Let me show you. So this guy, you see how even at just a little bit of range, you see how they just go kind of straight down? Kind of have to angle it up a little bit up if I want to shoot this guy at a distance, as you can see. It's one little finicky, little fun quirk about this weapon that you guys may not know about, so I'm here to let you guys know about it. It can definitely lead to some instances where you're just like, huh, how is this guy not down? Because you didn't, your pellets, they hit the floor. Now, also something fun to know about this weapon that you may not know about it is that it actually does do, I think, some sort of explosive damage. Just watch this. Look at that. Not many other shotguns I can shoot at my feet and then have them make me go ripski-dooski. So like as the Hellwalker, for example, you know, that it ain't going down me like that. The Rainbow Vomit, it will though. So if you're gonna use the Rainbow Vomit in your Harlow build or any build you're just in general, Rainbow Vomit's really good. Like, I've stood by this weapon being one of the better weapons, better legendaries in the entire game for a reason. It puts on so many dots and status effects, and it's shooting so many elements. So you're gonna have so many options where no matter what health bar the enemy has, you're gonna be hitting the super effective element for it, which is very, very good. And against armored enemies specifically, you'll really chew through them because we have our bonus cryo and we have bonus corrosive. So we're having 2 elements that do bonus damage versus armored enemies. Obviously, the corrosive does more at 175% bonus damage, and then the cryo does 150% bonus damage. So still very, very useful and definitely worth mentioning here. So we're gonna go ahead and just, we really want to pelt the enemies as much as we can and just have those status effects rolling, as the status effects, the dots, man, they add up quickly. When you're applying so many of them, they definitely add up pretty fast. Now, where's our guy at here, man? How'd you get over here? See, I don't want to give him a too big of a hug because I will down myself, and I'm not trying to do all that, champ. I ain't gonna lie to you. We'll pop back our flux generator, and we'll see you later. So now that's an example of how I can get absolutely rinsed by explosions. And as you see there, in that scenario, we did have to angle our projectiles or aim a little bit just to make sure that the trajectory of our shots actually did hit their target. Now, this is the part of the video where I like to talk just a little bit about of stuff outside of the game, just because, wow, can the just random explosions be any more annoying? I mean, but as I was saying, I want to talk a little bit more about just a little bit more into the personal life. As you guys do not know, I am a big football fan. I am a big time diehard cheesehead fan. Yes, I am a Packers fan. And in my previous normal video, I was kind of talking, I don't want to say a little bit of smack, but I was just kind of trying to be real. I was like, you know, I don't like to say many things are guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure the Packers are going to beat the Panthers today. They lost. Go figure. There's games that I watch. I'm be honest, I'm a very committed fan. I watch every single game. Part of my Sundays that I look forward to is the fact that, okay, going up to B-Dubs, I'm going to have a couple drinks, I'm going to watch my favorite team play football, and most of the time they win. Sunday was an experience where I had some drinks, I was hanging out with some buddies, Ace included. My boy Ace is a Lions fan. We both watched our teams lose last Sunday. Watching that game, I would say all the way until about the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter, right? 2 minutes left in the game. Up until that point, thought we were going to win the entire time. Like, yeah, we're playing pretty terribly, ugly, and sloppy, but we should still get the dub. We just never got the dub. So now the 2 losses on the season are to the, let me check my notes here. The Browns and the Panthers. I get back against those, bottom feeder teams, like, respectfully, bro. Like, Browns fans would agree that their team is not in a good spot. I think most Brown fans would agree with me on that, right, guys? Like, I mean, come on. I highly doubt there's any Browns fans watching this video right now. But if there's at least one. Tell me, there's no way that you like the spot that your team is in right now. There's no way. I don't want them to get a win against us, but like, whatever, dude. It is what it is. They got the dub. But like, we play the Panthers 100 times, we win 99 times. You know what I mean? Like, our offense didn't punt once. It's just some of the worst field goal kicking. It was windy, just sloppy play all around. 2 losses, both comes on walk-off game-losing field goals. It happens. It's not how I would, want it to go down. It just is what it is. Oh, and little insult to injury, my fantasy team lost. Joe Flacco put up 48 fantasy points and my team lost. Monty Vidal, no hate, brother, but how do you only put up 3 points against the Titans defense? Titans are like 1-7. They're terrible. How we put up 3 points, man? I try to play the matchup. My team's injured as heck. It's fantasy football. It happens, but like, come on, dude. Joe Flacco can only do so much by himself. And he's on a bye week this week. Brock Purdy, who was my initial quarterback, has been hurt with turf toe for almost the entire year. So now next week, who am I starting at quarterback? Let's see, I had to go on the waivers. Oh, man. I know the quarterback I'm having to start this week, I'm not happy about. Is it Geno Smith? Oh, my God. You guys know how it is, man. Sometimes you win, you lose. Not much we can do, but just keep on bowling in the streets. That's what we do best, right? Just playing some Borderlands, hanging out with the boys. Tomorrow, depending on what we get, I should be streaming, by the way, guys. I do like streaming the Borderlands on YouTube, hanging out with you guys. Hopefully, we get some, changes, maybe a little bit of some buffs here and there too. Never hurt nobody. Oh, is this guy? Yeah, you got some health bars. Perfect fodder for my rainbow vomit, and he's done. UVHM5, by the way. We do shock, corrosive, cryo, like incinerary, and radiation. We just do everything. We're effective against shields, flash, armor. Bring it down. You're not winning. I'm winning. Yes. I just love... so greasy. Come on, bro. I got every element in this puppy. Every element at once. Every pull of the trigger. Bye. Also, just a little bit of an update on when we're going to do our, best weapons to farm for in November. I'm waiting for a few more patch notes. Obviously, we did one before, like, the big patch. I'm waiting for just a couple more. Waiting for a little bit more of a shakeup in the sand. What downed me? Y'all remember the Mayhem 10 modifiers, bro? Y'all remember when that Mayhem 2.0 first dropped? You had to, like, load into your session and be like, yeah, I guess these modifiers are decent enough to rock with. The little buddy ones, like, just all the little orbs that kept spawning. Was there a headshot one only one as well? And then there was, like, also one where, like, crits did, like, 50% less damage. Just like, what? Like, nobody wants to play with those modifiers, bro. Oh yeah. I still don't know what downed me there. I feel like there's just so much random nonsense sometimes. I just get punk, knocked back, flown, sent. And all right, my sandats. Now we go in part of the video where I got to shout out our channel members. If you would like to get your name mentioned in videos, all you gotta do is become a member of the lowest tier. Big shout outs to the man, the myth, the legend, KJ42, our Super Saiyan Tier 3 tiered member. Absolute Giga Chad behavior from the man KJ. Much love, my man, brother man. Hope you doing well. Get ready for the holiday season. And our longest senior member, Pikachu. Pushing that 8 months, my man, is very much appreciated. Hope you are doing well too, my friend. Of course, guys, I just want to thank you all for watching the video to the very end. You didn't have to spend 14 minutes of your day watching this video, but you did, and I am very, very grateful for that. We do have a patch hopefully coming out today, and with some juiciness, I should be streaming later. Y'all be safe out there, care for your loved ones, and I'll see your beautiful faces in the next one, all right? Adios.